It's 0-0 between AFC Oakwood and Rongens FC. Why is there an inverted fullback? No! Wow! Smash the like button, folks. Let's go. Thanks for intro business.
You always use that active red light defending. I think it's like. You always use that active red light defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on. Like Ian Wright just said there, people deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. Happy weekend, folks. I'm a bit disappointed because whatever team you support, the Premier League season is about to be over. 24 hours from now, well, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but you get the point. Tomorrow's the last day of the Premier League season. Hopefully West Ham could, apologies, no do-overs. Hopefully West Ham can do Arsenal a favour. In life, like in football, I think when your destiny is out of your hands, then you're at other teams' mercy. I'm also a bit pessimistic. It is a season where there are positive elements connected to this football club. There are things to be proud of. There is a sense of pride. But on the topic of trophies and etching our name in history, it's another season that keeps going where we probably will not win the Premier League and not get any major honours. I hope this week's been great for you lot. Big up the Twitch gang and the Twitter ones. If you're on YouTube, smash the like button. Again, I'm going to do a video on it, but my Arsenal shirt came, people. Next season shirt. So, yeah, man, I'll be wearing that tomorrow. I'll get a review out for you guys. Cost an arm and a leg. These kits are getting expensive. I'm seeing what they say, £8 to put your name on it, £8 to put your number on it. It's crazy, people. But the things we do for this football club. Obviously, throughout this course of this live stream, we're going to go over Arteta's comments, Odegaard's comments. Ramsdale's been linked with Newcastle for 15 million. I hope that is the first offer that they're trying to make, because considering the fact of, you know, Ramsdale signed a new deal at Arsenal. He's 25, 26. Arguably at a point he was pushing in to be England's #1, and he's one of the best English goalkeepers. The only thing that makes Ramsdale look rubbed has been the minimal chances he's had. He's made some mistakes. But we signed him for big money. And, you know, he was part of a team last season that, you know, did quite well defensively. He was nominated for PFA Player of the Year. 15 million is an idiot thing, even by Arsenal standards. And we don't do well historically selling. That's an idiot thing, especially because he's a goalie. You know, he's 25, 26. From a goalie's point of view, I'm exaggerating, but that's like being 17 years of age. And the thing with Ramsdale, for all his faults and whatnot, you know, he will go somewhere and show his quality. And the only thing why Ramsdale looks damaged goods is because obviously there's a lot of question marks over Raya. I think Raya is a good goalie. I still think him and Ramsdale in the same realm. I do think Raya has question marks of his own. But in terms of what Mikel Arteta demands of him and the modern day keeper, he does those things. Obviously, the whole team and Raya benefits from, we're a better defensive side. So we're not facing many shots. You know, Ramsdale, you know, for Raya to have a good game, he can have the traditional goalkeeper kind of game, but he can play some good passes. Ramsdale to have a great game. He was in the trenches. Leno, he was in the trenches. It'd be stupid to, especially with Newcastle, who qualified for the Champions League last season. Obviously, they're becoming rivals and they're trying to disrupt the top six. And put your shoe on the put the shoe on the other foot. Are we going to get Ramsdale from them for 15 million quid? You know what? We can't use Ramsdale to try and get Bruno Gomoras or Isaac. I'm dream chasing. I have zero interest in transfer rumors and won't be watching many except on this channel. Inner Circle, I appreciate that. I'm not gonna lie, you had me, man. I was getting scared when I saw that message until the last bit. So yeah, man. To be fair, you know, my channel's gonna keep ticking over. Obviously, there's gonna be a lot of content where I'm gonna review the season. Player, you know, review the season collectively, do some player reviews. Obviously, we're going to do transfer news. The Euros is coming up, so we'll be doing watch-alongs. The show has just started, people. I don't know about other content creators and channels, but just because the season's done, don't mean that we're going anywhere. And I'm going to drop another channel, actually, because I've been speaking with people, and I love football. As much as I love Arsenal, I love football, in it. So it's best to probably just park all my other footballing points on another channel, exclusively Arsenal here and whatnot. And I think one thing that hasn't helped Ramsdale is the fact of, you know, Raya's just become the number one, innit? Raya was Arteta's first kind of love. That was the one he wanted before. And if he was to go to Newcastle, listen, they're a massive club. They're going places. Obviously, he's worked with Eddie Howe before. You're going to get regular game time. I would hope Ramsdale stays at Arsenal Football Club for at least another season, because I know you want to play football, and who knows, you might get your spot back from Raya, and you might be happy here, even though I don't doubt that. I think you can afford to stay next season, obviously, when you forget about the most important thing, which is playing first team football. But I think the 2025-26 season, you've got the World Cup. Southgate probably won't be there. So not this season coming. Well, this season's going to end tomorrow. Not the season after that. The season after that, in theory, I'd love for you to cut, really. And I was reading some Ramsdale comments yesterday, actually, where he said, I want to be at Arsenal for life. It's almost like in life, yeah. It's like Ramsdale's been living the dream, quickly become fan favourite, you know, like at the time, like with Benjamin White, you know, two signings that were criticised. They showed their quality. They're part of a developing side. Ramsdale was a poster boy. He's part of the English core, signed a new deal, and then bang, Raya's come in. And to be fair, away from Ramsdale, I like that from Mikel Arteta, because there's no complacency, really and truly. Anybody's spot can go. Now, we know Odegaard, unless you sign somebody better than Odegaard, Saka, Declan Rice, Saliba and Gabriel, you lot, well, even Gabriel's on the bench, you lot spots are secure. But Arteta, you never know what the guy's thinking, really and truly. And that means there can be no complacency. Obviously, if there's no complacency, everybody is fighting. Ultimately, we're a better football club. Yeah, man, 15 million ain't it. Surely Bruno, Isaac are included in that deal, and we're not aware of it yet. Well, if we're gonna sell man for 15 million, yeah, what? We gave him a new contract. We might as well get a loan fee. Go on loan to Newcastle. That means you can't play against us twice. Go put yourself in the shop window. If Ramsdale does Ramsdale stuff when he plays on a regular basis, then we're in a stronger negotiating position. It's very different. But for me, smash the like button as well, people. It's like Eddie Nketiah in a sense of, obviously the man needs to go. He's got a bunch of interest from clubs. If we can get a fee, why not? But in theory, I'm not against loaning out Eddie Nketiah. Obviously, small hope that he becomes this great striker that could be used at Arsenal, which is probably not going to happen. But if he goes on, if we sold him this summer and he goes for X amount, and let's just say for another example, we loan him out, he has a Solanke sort of season where he gets double figures, then next summer, what position are we in to get money from, really and truly? And I think that's the next step for Arsenal. We need to get better at selling players, especially the boys in Hayland. We need to stop letting the talented young Haylanders leave, and just generally, we need to get better at selling players, because a lot of times, fans, including myself, we criticize the club for the lack of money made on certain sales. Bearing in mind, people were vexed about Rob Holding, the fee that saw him join Crystal Palace. He can't buy a game. But at the same time, there has been a couple of players where if they were at other clubs, you think somehow they would get something from it, really and truly. And this summer is going to be a big one. Obviously, we need to bring in some players. You know, for me, if you could get a central midfield needs to be addressed. I'd love two central midfielders. It's not going to happen. So we need one game changer, that long-term partner for Declan Rice, and completes the trio with Odegaard and obviously Declan in that. I think I speak for many Arsenal fans where we want the best of both worlds. Kai Havertz, keep doing what you're doing, but a next striker can come in and help us. We clearly need a winger. Big up Trossard with his recent form. I'm still standing behind Martinelli, even though he's struggling. Why? Bakayle's Bakayo, but another winger would help. Obviously, we're probably going to sign two goalies in that. Raya's going to be made permanent. Ramsdale leaves, you need to get another one in. And then it's a case of just marrying the depth, really and truly. And as much as it's about incomings, outgoings, you know, again, not everyone is going to be sold for decent money, but other clubs might sell Ramsdale for a decent fee. Eddie Nketiah, whether you rate him or not, he's an England international and all of that jazz, people would get a decent fee for him. I don't think this football club can get 30 million for Reece Nelson, but when you type in his name and see the club's linked, if there's 30 million for Reece Nelson, as much as I love him, you've got to drive him to whatever club, get things signed before there's an opportunity to change their minds. You know, Tierney's not going to really bring in anything of significance. Got 2 years left. Don't think Sociedad are going to be queuing up to sign him. But, you know, could you flog that somewhere, really? Because these are not bad players. Tavares, lol, just I said not bad players. And then I said Nuno Tavares. Lokonga had a good year at Luton, really. I don't expect to sell everyone and bring everyone in, but it's a summer where Edu has to earn his chops, if I'm honest with you. Big up yourself, Marcel. Bless up my guy, DJ. As the season comes to an end, I just want to say I appreciate the effort and work you put into this channel for your fans. The hard work doesn't go unnoticed. I love this channel. My guy, man. I don't know what... I'm not even just saying it because it's the right thing to say. I swear that them things there, like, I can't explain it. It just makes a guy feel warm inside, man. It's obviously, it's nice to see that It's appreciated. Oh, this is live. Got a brand new cab yesterday. DG all shiny and nice. Out later for the night shift, innit? Big up yourself in the circle. Hopefully, you know, your new big up you on getting the new cab. Hopefully, you get plenty of clients, man. And obviously, you said you're doing the night shift, and being a cabbie or even an Uber driver, it must be annoying because when you're doing the night shifts, you know, there must be drunk people. I don't know, man. How many times has someone vomited in your car? Hopefully, that's not the case, man. But hopefully, you know, you're whatever time you set out, you're not coming home until early in the morning, man. Why can't people understand it's paper talk? We value him at double that. I think we'll make a small profit on him. We paid 26 million. I think we'll get 30, 35. Gary, I don't believe they did that either, really and truly. I don't believe the paper talks. Anything can happen, but 50 million, like us as common fans know is stupid. The club probably know it. What I believe it is that might be Newcastle's opening offer. They might want to do it for 30, 35. They're doing the low balling thing. Negotiations are starting, man. Ramsdale's problem is the guy acts a clown, hence why he gets far too much attention. If the guy was humble and less of a twat, he'd get left alone. If you give it the big one, you need to back it up week in, week out. That's very harsh, man, because you know, Ramsdale clearly has ADHD. I don't think his dad's comments, I don't think, to be fair, Ramsdale himself ain't actually said anything. I think it's been a circus. I think when Raya came in, it was a bit unfair on Raya because, you know, obviously Ramsdale's fan favorite, larger than life, was part of a developing team. Then Raya's come out of nowhere where it's not, and it still isn't clear that Raya's consistently better at Ramsdale. Don't get it twisted. At what Arteta demands, building out from the back, sticking to the script, all the modern day goalkeeper stuff, Raya's clear of Ramsdale. But as a goalkeeper, full package, I think Raya's better than him, but I think they're in the same realm. And I think even Raya's got his own question marks. And I think when we brought Ramsdale in, Raya in, Arteta's not an idiot. He knew all the things I just said and what would happen. But for devil's advocate purposes, I don't think Arteta handled it in the press the right way. And I don't think maybe he underestimated the circus really and truly with that. Ramsdale has a lot of mistakes, but I think it's very hard. I think the man's very humble. I think, you know, at the beginning of the season where Ramsdale and Raya, you know, whichever one played, the camera would pan to the one that wasn't playing and whatnot. Ramsdale, of course, you're not going to be happy. You want to play. As much as this football club is about a family and the collective, and you do have to put your ego to the side for the collective good. Everybody wants to play. We're not here to make friends. You man are here to play football games. So I think Ramsdale's naturally disappointed, but he looks a very supportive figure, very calm in the group, remaining professional. And one thing I like about Ramsdale, he wears his heart on his sleeves. Like Ramsdale's one of those guys that if he wasn't a footballer, like he would probably be down the pub. Like I can't say he's working class in it because you're earning peas now, but he just reminds you of like your friends and stuff, man. So I think that's harsh to call Ramsdale a clown. And even Ramsdale's confidence was shot, man. Like you're not gonna play against Everton you might, but you're not going to play against Everton. It's a shame that your last game for Arsenal in the Premier League, you made a mistake. And I do think there's been like jitters and a lack of confidence from both Raya and Ramsdale at points because of, you know, the talking points going into it, if I'm honest, man. Good questions, keep them coming. That's what I'm saying about Elise. A lot of people assume he wouldn't come to us to be backup. Who's to say he's not coming to take over? Trossard is taking over the left at the moment. Who knows? I personally think Elise is going to end up at United. I think Ramsdale goes, but not to Newcastle. They need to sell before they buy, and they value him more than the Daily Telegraph is quoting. Telegraph is plucking doo-doo out the air, not sweating. I hear that. Good to see if and when Timber comes back, if he can take Gabriel's spot as a centre-back next to Saliba. Timber can play everywhere. You know, him and United's Lisandro Martinez, they were a centre-half duo. And obviously, Tommy Asu can play there. But I think Timber is more seen, don't get it twisted, you will get game time if it's required. But Timber's more seen as a fullback, in my opinion, really. Like, Timber isn't small. He's 6 foot odd or something like that, but you're not a monster like Gabriel. And yeah, you want him to put pressure on the spot, but football is about relationships. I do think in the last 2 years, among everything, because Arteta has brought in some players, done some different tactics. You know, you've seen the system evolve in the last 2 years at certain points, but stability, relationships have been allowed to build, you know, for obvious reasons. Why do you think we are stronger beyond obvious reasons? Sorry. Why do you think we're stronger down the right-hand side than on the left? Yes, there's been injuries at left back. There's a hole that Xhaka, a void that's been left with Xhaka, and no one's really grabbed that on a consistent basis. Trossard's been in and out the team. Martinelli's form's fluctuated. Gabriel Jesus, who pulled out to the left to aid Martinelli, is obviously a factor, and he hasn't been fit himself. And we know when you've got Odegaard, who's the heartbeat of this football team, and Bukayo Saka, who's the star boy, naturally that plays a part. But there's stability. Benjamin White is always fit. Saka is always fit. Odegaard is always fit. That relationship has built. Saliba and Gabriel, another year playing with each other. Why? Obviously, we've had inconsistencies at left back, and to be honest, you know, and stability in midfield relative. You know, if people forget all of that stuff. Like I obviously you're going to look to City as an example because they've been there, they've done it, and they've worn the t-shirt. And Mikel Arteta, you know, cross paths with City. But you have to look at Liverpool. For when Liverpool are winning these things or really challenging for the league title and whatnot. And it's not right because I'm sure their fans would say they want a bigger squad, but 9 times out of 10, it was the same 11. Like, I do think you need options and depth. And you lot know me, I'm a champion of saying we ain't got enough depth and all of these kind of things. But you need stability. Like, the same players kind of have to play to a degree. If I'm honest, 15 to 20 mil for Nelson. It's mad because I'm not saying Nelson's going to be the star boy and things, but you know, such as how much his stock has fallen. Like, I think he needs to go and chase lost time. He needs to go somewhere where, if you're not necessarily going to start, you're realistically going to be in the team, because realistically, as much as we like Nelson, he's a cult hero, he's all of that stuff, you're just a body in the squad. Like, the minute everybody's been fit in the last few games, you've been the odd one out. You're not in the match day squad. 9 times out of 10, you're on the bench. You need to go somewhere and develop, man. Get my guy to 60k as soon as possible. Deserves it, man. One of the realists in the game. Appreciate that. And subscribe, as the man said, we're flirting with it. See any chance of Moyes causing an upset this weekend? Maybe that Everton connection between him and Mikel could come in clutch. Big up yourself, DG. The dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. In life, if we don't have hope, then we don't have anything really and truly in it. So a man can hope. You know, David Moyes, since Mikel Arteta has become a manager, he let you dump us out the League Cup. You took 3 points off us at the Emirates, where if we had 3 points on the board, how would we be looking at tomorrow, people? We'd probably get in the trophy parade, you know, suited and booted. So you hope. Me personally, City are not going to go for that. People forget, yeah, because a lot of the talking points has been about Liverpool and Arsenal and, you know, and all these things. And when you talk about City, people sit there and say, oh, City are not as good as they were last season, which, well, if you don't win the treble again, of course you're not going to look that good. Obviously, Gundogan's left. They've had some injuries, but they've gone unbeaten since December. They've handled business. They're not going to go through all of that to lose to West Ham. And I hope, as an Arsenal fan, I'm wrong. What I think is going to happen is, you know, this is the last kind of drama. Like, when last did the Premier League trophy of recent years go to the last day of the season? I personally think the footballing gods are going to play on that. There's going to be, you know, obviously, according to in-game, both teams are kicking off at the same time. And I'm sure a lot of you will be joining me for my watch-along. Make sure you are. And you'll be keeping an eye on the Man City game. Some of you will have 2 games on. But I personally think, obviously, throughout 90 minutes, it's going to fluctuate. Like, if we take the lead, or if they take the lead, or if they go behind and we go behind, the table's going to keep moving like that. I personally think Arsenal are going to go ahead. West Ham are going to take the lead. It's going to be, we're going to be flirting with it, bearing in mind there is going to be an identical Premier League trophy at the Emirates and 40 medals to match, as well as one of them high executives from the Premier League. And then City are going to do the comeback thing. Pep isn't going out like that. Let's be honest. It's a cup final. I know it's cliche, and definitely, you know, where Arsenal are concerned, we've been saying every game's a cup final and stuff, but genuinely, it's a cup final. It is a cup final. You know, it's a cup final for Pep. And I know these players have won a lot of Premier League trophies, but at some point, you're going to look back in your career and think about opportunities to get more, really and truly. And I genuinely believe when you've done what these City players have done and you've won almost every trophy there is to offer. In fact, Julian Alvarez, what haven't you won? You've won the Champs, the World Cup, everything to Premier League. You've completed football. You want to go and get more. You know, Pep stands to get the 4-peat. I can't lie, Pep, though. If you do get the 4-peat next season, you need to let Mikel Arteta do it. Personally, I think you should let us do it this year. Let your little brother get this, man. We need this. We need this, man. That list of outgoings is already big. And with players like Lokonga, Tavares, and Marquinhos coming back, and it's only going to grow, still got a bit of faithful hold on to Smith Rowe. You can't sell everyone. You can't bring everybody in, but there's a lot of players where, like you said, their futures are up for debate. I guess it all depends on the players' willingness to leave, the wages they're seeking, what their players are actually feeling, what Mikel Arteta wants to do, what we're able to bring in. But yeah, you know, you imagine, Mark, some of these guys are going to go out on loan again. Tavares, I hope we flog. Lokonga, I like him, but I hope we flog. Marquinhos, I don't know how it actually works in Brazil. Technically, their season will still be going, in it, really. So there's a lot of players, and there's a couple of Haylenders as well. I think Arteta's aim this summer is to improve the overall strength of the squad rather than the first 11. And Nketiah out, Sesko in, Nelson out, a good winger in, etc. I mean, anything that can make us a bit better, man, if I'm honest. I hear you, annoys me. United will drop 60 million and they say, well, we've got to play in Diallo. Diallo's lit, man. But I don't think Ten Hag rates him. I just think because of where United are at this moment, Ten Hag said, you know what, here, damn, got run your games. There's got to be a reason why he hasn't been exposed. And he looked good against SARS. He looked good in whoever United played in the last. He's a good player, man. And he's chasing lost time because where's he been for the whole year? I think we got Ramsdale when we were pushing for the top, for when we exceeded expectations and pushed for the title. He's a victim of our progression. He's not quite at the level needed to challenge for the league, which is true. And to be fair, I know Raya's just got here, but looking at how quickly Mikel Arteta signs goalkeepers, who's to say, and I'm not saying to get rid of Raya or anything, but if the next Allison or Edison, or I would more say Edison because he's more closely aligned with what Arteta kind of wants from a goalie. If someone better comes on the market, boy, it's the game. Like, I know I'm exaggerating a bit, but as much as I love Bukayo Saka, if there was a winger that we're able to attain, that's twice the player he is in his position, then it is what it is. Bring him into the club. If Saka can take back the spot, great. We've got two wingers. Being real, this season hurts more than the last. I can't be asked to watch the Everton game. Nah, last season hurts a lot more, man. Last season, definitely. Like, I can't say it will hurt. Will it be disappointed to not win the Premier League? Like I said, where you've got the trophy coming out and you literally got so close, you know, the top 6 record, all of these things. And, you know, we've ran it to the last day of the season, which some fans probably just hope if we're not going to win it, we'd rather us just derail from you know, sooner rather than later. Nah, man, last season hurt. Last season hurt because there was a degree of expectation for me this year to not necessarily win the Prem, but to come at least, you know, you hope for first, but one to, you know, first, second, or third, essentially. Last season hurt a lot more because it ended like, because of the way when our title hopes got mashed up, that's why it hurt more. Like, we've shot ourselves in the foot again this year. We have, you know, for me, I'm going to do a video on it. And, you know, many people will point to the Aston Villa game in 2024 because there's never a good time to lose. And that obviously did derail us 100,000,000%. And every loss or draws played a part. But for me, I was thinking about, I actually think ultimately the December period, because as much as we're talking about a striker and we've got 80 odd goals in the Premier League, we're second top goal scorers in the Prem. I think we must have around 100 in all comps. There's been times where we failed to convert chances, especially around the December period, which for me is to why I want these players to keep doing what they're doing, but bring in another body. Really, there's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of, and again, I'm doing a video on this, so make sure your notifications are on. There's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of unanswered questions. I believe these players can score goals. They're all the attackers. Obviously, set pieces, defenders are chipping in. Declan Rice has brought that to his game. But the attackers, more so the players that are paid to score. I said it 2 years ago. I said it in August, and I'm probably going to say it this August. When you look through our team, obviously, while the season plays out, you know, Trossard can get goals. A fit Jesus got at least, I wanted a lot more, but got 11 goals. You know, Havertz is in a great run of form. Odegaard isn't quite at the level of getting 15 of last season, but he's got a decent return. Martinelli, you know, he scored in the big games, but goals have deserted him. So there's goals around the team. But realistically, at the start of the season, for all of these attackers, yeah, if you had to bet your life savings or bet your life, someone that is going to you 100% know, or close to 100%, you know, is going to score double figures in the Premier League, it's Bukayo Saka. He's done it in the last 2-3 years. There's a lot of unanswered questions with the rest of them. And I'm not saying, you know, our striker options or our left wing options are poor, but when you look at our front three, as much as I think we're building great foundations, yeah, who is the only, you look in our front three, Saka's on the right, whoever you want, whether it's Jesus last season and Martinelli of last season, or currently Trossard and Kai Havertz, who's, you know, you could argue them two positions could be upgraded. If you get a 30 number 9 and another winger, that's another level. Like, you could argue we're two missing pieces there, if I'm honest. So, yeah, man. Timber's best position is centre-back. Yes, he's smaller, but he's the perfect modern ball-playing centre-back. So much composure on the ball and reads the game. As a United fan, I wanted Timber before he got Martinez. I hear that, but I think his future is going to be at fullback. But again, Arteta showing you can fill a number of roles. Facts, we knew what our lineup was going to be every week. There you have it. DG, Leipzig are saying that they want the release clause met for Sesko, which has just been increased to 65 million euros. If we're talking that price, why not drop another 10 and push for Openda? Openda's lit. I'd rather Sesko. Openda's better than him right now, but I'd rather Sesko, honestly. Was looking at the attack in 07-08, and my God, we had world-class technicians. We need that back in the team, and I'm not seeing that in our transfer leagues. I hear that, but links and actually buying players are a completely different thing, man. I'm here. I'm happy to, you know, go over the transfer news in theory, and we talk about it, but until players are signed, there's not too much, man. Liverpool's title winning season, they had the same 11 for most of the season and pushed all the way to 97 points. There you have it. And Arteta says these things in little indirect ways. As much as I believe Saka could get rested and stuff, and it's a bit weird with Saka because, you know, December period, or no, better yet, January, when we're blitzing teams and we're subbing people, that was the only time Saka got rested. But Arteta said the best players play 70-odd games, rightly or wrongly in the present day. We can have a separate conversation about player welfare, but he's brutally honest there, so he needs to play. Brighton is perfect for Nelson. They would pay 20 if you include add-ons. I think they do rate him and he fits their style. He does, but arguably, you know, you look at a couple of their wingers, yeah, and I think Nelson would be good there. They've been linked with him. Is Nelson, and I guess Premier League, you've got a welcome competition, right? How much is Nelson going to play at Brighton? Realistically, how much is he going to play? Because you got that Ivorian, the African winger. He's good. They've got him. They've got Mitoma. Danny Welbeck can play up front as well as on the left. I'm not saying Nelson can't break in, but is he better than any of these guys at this moment in time? Is he? I don't know, really. I think Nelson needs to go and get some regular football. And I would watch, actually, the Ipswich links, because I don't think our players are going to respectfully go to Ipswich on a permanent basis. But if you could flog and then Ketty, or even on loan there for a year, park him there, let him have a good season, then it would help us, really. Smash the likes if you haven't. As you know, I keep banging on about a massive clear out as soon as possible. It ain't happening. And at best, we'll have 15 to 16 who will play 99% of all minutes. And that ain't enough to compete on all fronts. I hear that. And I can't say Mikel Arteta doesn't trust his team, because it's disingenuous. He clearly does. But realistically, there's probably about 12, 13, maybe 14 players that are trusted. I want that to go to about 16, 17, and then have a good 20-man squad. You know, the other fillers are guys that can come in and do a job. Like, again, if you're in this squad, you're in this squad for a reason, but you just have to look at who's played minutes. Now, some of that is due to injury. Some of that is due to other players doing in form. Some of it is the brute, honest thing is that we're fighting for a league title. The players that have been doing their job 9 times out of 10 every week, they're the ones that have to play. We haven't got time to, you know, show Jesus love to a point. We persisted with Martinelli, but persist with Martinelli can, you know, hold Zinchenko's hand and etc. etc. Even when Partey was fit, he had to hold bench for a while. But who's really trusted? It's, you know, I would say for me, let's exclude the goalies, because if Raya isn't playing, Ramsdale will play. But let's just say the two keepers, obviously, you know, Benjamin White, Gabriel, Saliba, Timbo is fit, Tomiyasu is fit, Zini is fit, to some degree, Jorginho, Partey, Odegaard, Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, Trossard. After that, it's a bit shaky. And Nketiah shown he can come in and get some game time. Would you say wholeheartedly Arteta trusts him? I like Fabio Vieira, and at the end of the day, the gaffer spent 30-odd million quid on him. But does he really trust him like that? Reece Nelson, you've been about, but does he trust him like that? I think Kyrgios's done well when he's come in generally, but does he really trust him like that? And there's probably, you know, Cedric, you're just here for a body. El Nene, farewell. You're just people. They're not really trusted. So I do think we need about 17 players that are genuinely trusted. I think when you look at some of the games we've dropped points, there's a correlation between that, amongst other things, and us not addressing what's needed in the middle of the park. Let's be honest, it ain't happening for us. I hope this hurts the Arsenal players to realise they must finish their chances, because we could have won 3 of the 5 games we lost. Every time Arsenal have dropped points in the Premier League this season, and I'm sure everyone would say that, yeah, apart from Fulham away, where in hindsight we just needed to turn up better and we bottled the lead in that game, Fulham away, for me, all in all, is the worst performance in the Premier League this season. I'll accept that. You know, Fulham were better than us on the day. We were terrible. There's things we could have done better. It is what it is. But the draw against Chelsea, you know, the only draw I'm not vexed about, if we've got many, is at the Etihad. Because yes, there was chances we could have taken, but a clean sheet and a point at the Etihad, sometimes it's a marathon, not a sprint. Look at our top 6 record in comparisons to City's, and look what City are on the verge of doing. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But I would say the West Ham game, billion chances, couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Newcastle didn't really create or convert. Yes, VAR done us dirty. Chelsea at Stamford Bridge shot ourselves in the foot, took about 60-odd minutes to get in the game. Yes, we rescued it in the last 20. Spurs, we shot ourselves in the foot, you know, with how we took the lead and then, you know, dropped points. And I think, again, Declan Rice come off at halftime. It's an NBA kind of match. Jorginho has to come on, not making it all about Jorginho, but that's not the conditions for him. So indirectly, we're shooting ourselves in the foot kind of thing. So there's always a lesson in it. And had we have just taken 3 more points, look at the position we'd have been in, man. It's a shame because we weren't perfect from August, but we was moving along. The December period come, and yes, we came out of the December period great, fighting, showing what we're about. But ultimately, in hindsight, I think the damage was done in this. Yes, we lost to Villa, but the damage was done in that December period, man. And it's a shame because, you know, the last 2 years, that's enough to win the Premier League trophy. But unfortunately, you've got Pep Guardiola. I hate going to the last day of the season, man. It's nerve-wracking. I wouldn't even say it's nerve-wracking for me, man. Just acceptance, man. I think West Ham can start well and don't concede for the first half. Then there's a tiny chance where it's a long shot. Plus, Everton have the fourth best defense. They won't roll over for sure. Everton's going to be a tough game. You know, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's finding his form. Sean Dyche, you know, he was very critical on, you know, Arsenal are getting praised for set pieces. We're not. They're on stuff. They're on stuff because there could be a reality. West Ham beat City. If we don't do our job against Everton, it doesn't mean anything. So you're right. My only hope for West Ham would be it's David Moyes' last game. Arteta, David Moyes is one of your footballing dads, you know, your Scottish dad. Hopefully the footballing gods got something for us. But yeah, I think last season was worse. DJ, apologies if you've covered this already, but where are these Locatelli rumours? Have done a search of the net and finding niche. We're going to get into that in a sec, man. Big up yourself, Queen of the South. Big up yourself. Would you take cover? The Napoli guy, 100%. What sticks in my throat is Emre resting his first 11 against City. I hear it, but like, he don't owe us nothing, innit? And at the end of the day, them like Aston Villa have done what Newcastle did last season, and that they overperformed and they're in the Champions League. So everything's his point. I hear you, Greg, but it's like Arsenal fans coming out and saying Son cost Arsenal the league. It's an idiot thing. It's stupid. Son cost Spurs the little hope that they had for getting back in the top four. What happened in the Spurs game directly, or better yet, indirectly, obviously has ramifications for us, because if they drop points, we'd be laughing. But our future is not in our hands anymore, really. So I don't really agree with that, man. Like, you know what? It was kind of, in hindsight, it was written in the stars. You know, David Moyes takes points of Arteta. Emre seems to save his best for us. Even the game, do you know what? Yeah, I don't know. Between the two defeats to Aston Villa, the one at the Emirates is obviously fresh in the mind. And I think, you know, we were terrible in the second half. The 2 goals we conceded was on nonsense, and it shows the issues we have. Fulham at home as well, oh my God. But between the 2 Aston Villa games, I don't know which one I'm more disappointed with, because the one at home, obviously for what it means, disappointed me, but the game disappointed me. But at their place, I was quite annoyed, because again, it was a time where I think psychologically, because a lot of these players that are scoring goals for fun now, they weren't doing it in December, so a lot of it is psychological. We just weren't putting the ball in the back of the net, man. Timber is gonna play left back. There's no chance he comes in for Gabriel. You can see so clearly Arteta wants him at left back based off Kirill playing there when he's been injured. And I mean, you know what? If with Kirill with another season under his belt, Timber, if there's opportunities for Saliba, Benjamin White, and Gabriel to be rested at points next season, we need to do that, man. We are 5 players away from greatness. You reckon? I hear it. Because even when you look at Real Madrid, for all the stars that they have, you know, we'll be here all day. Sometimes the Vasquezes, the Diazes, the Nachos, these guys, they don't, history isn't going to be kind to them, but they've come on and made the difference. It's like when you look at when City have won titles, yes, the majority of it is Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, Aguero, all of these guys. But there's been times Gabriel Jesus has made a moment. Zinchenko, I'm sure Zinchenko 3 seasons ago against Aston Villa, or at the last run of the season, did well. That's why we need a squad. I hear it. I think I don't know for numbers, but you bring me a striker. The boys that are doing the job, they keep doing what they're doing. You bring me a striker, you bring me a winger. I still maintain 2 central midfielders, but you bring me a midfielder as, you know, 1 as a minimum. I'd more want an 8 than a 6, even though I think you need both. Then I think, you know, I'm a lot more confident in what we're doing. Our striker targets change every week. This week it's been Sesko. Last week it was Isaac. And a couple weeks ago it was Gyökeres. Not believing much of the striker talk until I see bids being placed. There you have it. We need Niles back because he can play multiple positions. The Maitland-Niles thing is done, man. I've been good. Thank you for asking. West Ham and Aston Villa annoying. I think we'll get 1 marquee signing for the first 11 like Rice was in the summer, and add 3 or 4 younger profiles with a high ceiling like Yahato or Sesko types. I'm not against that. I can't lie to you. A man said tracksuit Dyche could come out swinging. I can't lie. Everton got nothing to lose. Like, I don't know for how the relegation table's pointed now, but they'd be all right now, man. So they really, I'm hoping they've got nothing to play for, and that goes negatively. But positively, they could say, you know what, Arsenal, arguably, you know, the best team would be the team that's won the league. But you could argue that Arsenal have been the best Premier League team in terms of what we've been doing. They might say, you know what, let's see how good we are. Hopefully we can do a favour, man. Common factors in the games we dropped points, and I checked with Zini, left back, Kai in midfield, and either Eddie or Jesus up front. Arteta didn't remember and made the mistakes at Villa at home, effed up. It's peak, man. If West Ham can get a result, London would get shut down. Way too optimistic. Listen, don't do it to yourselves, man. I want to be wrong. I want Arsenal to win the league tomorrow. but don't do it to yourself. Just accept it. We go again next year, probably be in the same position next year. But you know what? Last season, we thought this time last year it was over. We're flirting with it. Hopefully, the footballing gods allow it. Pep has to allow it. It's either that or City have to be ignored in the Premier League. Like if City win the Premier League in future years, they're X'd out, and whoever's second, that's the new first. Because City have just turned this into a farmers league. I still think City will be up there dominating, doing what they're doing long after Pep's gone. But it's Pep in it. You've got the juggernaut of City, and you've got Pep. Like a normal, mere mortal kind of manager would make it a lot better. The way people are saying we need a striker, I disagree. All we need is someone who has that F it, I'm going to score mentality, which could be a left back. Listen, if you can bring it, left winger. If you can bring in a left winger that's getting double figures, I'm all for that. No, 115 turned this league into a farmers league. Listen, I hear it, man. We can talk about the charges. I'm not qualified to speak. I just want to talk about football. And from a footballing sense, however they've done it, they've done it. And some more than others, some are breaching rules than others, and I'm not forgiving anyone or excusing anyone. But what we can't do, even my football club, as much as I love them, what we can't do is act like football clubs are not immoral. They're all their hands are dirty. Like I promise you, all their hands are dirty. Look at the sponsorships and all of these things. Chelsea is winning the EPL before Arsenal and Spurs. I mean, I hope not before us. I don't really believe the Spurs thing. When the Spurs ever won it, hopefully footballing gods are kind. Like, so I'll never take verbal from Spurs fans. Like, we Arsenal fans, we get angry when we win. These lot were celebrating L's. Their manager needs to get out of there because he was looking around like, I'm the only non-Muppet connected to this football club, you know. And what's gone under the radar, you know, this is how you know. Well, we all know Arsenal's a bigger club than Spurs. If we were in Spurs' position fighting for fourth and Spurs were fighting for the league title and we could, quote unquote, do them a favor, do not a favor, and we would have dented our own Champions League spot, you know, chances, chasing a good Villa side. Obviously, you know, Spurs have one win in 5, which nobody's talking about. All of this would be masked. Spurs are little fish in this, man. Like, this is why Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, City, these kind of fans can talk to my football club. Everyone's allowed an opinion. But the minute Spurs get a bit too big for their boots, I'll turn it off. I say this to my Spurs supporting friends all the time. You lot would have seen a video I did in relation to this where I'm literally on the phone to my Spurs supporting friend. There's levels, man. Sack or back Arteta if he doesn't win nothing next season. I wouldn't sack him. I would, but next season I can't really comment. The context have to be there. If we're kind of doing what we're doing this year and we're flirting with success, not getting it, then we probably have to have a conversation. And I'm not just saying this to keep Mikel Arteta, but who is going to come in? What young manager is going to fit the remit? Or, you know, if people say Carlo Ancelotti, you know, great manager, does this thing, but Carlo's got everything you need at Real Madrid. Forget the money because you have to use the tools rightly. We're not going to do that. We're not going to get like the next Pep and give them a blank check and things. Not to say Arteta hasn't spent money. And I'm not saying that to keep the man really and truly, because the conversation is shifting into that. I do think we need to be a bit more aggressive. But, you know, if someone can present me, like if Xabi Alonso, for example, continue this and we get to next season to humour your example and Arteta is moving iffy, I'm on bringing in Xabi Alonso, but I'm going to persist with Arteta right now. But I think we need to be a bit more aggressive in our pursuit now of what we're doing. And I do think in the last 2 seasons, no matter how good City have been, we have contributed to our own downfall, kind of. You know, like one of the only things I missed last season as opposed to this year was the bounce back factor. Now, I'm sure there has been that, but it felt like last season, for as good as bad or bad as it's been, when we dropped points last year, like if we lost today, the next game's tomorrow, we're winning tomorrow. December period, that didn't quite happen, did it? There was a point we had 1 win in 5. And respectfully to these teams, you know, because Aston Villa are a Champions League club, but you know, if you let Aston Villa take 6 points off you, if you let Fulham take 4 points off you, then you can kind of forget about the league. And even where you look at the Fulham away, Chelsea away, no, Fulham away, Spurs away, Fulham away, Spurs at home, we took the lead in these games. You've got to see it home. For the large part, you know, 99.9% of this season and what we're doing is great. But that remaining percentage, that's what we need to chase now, because that is the only way you're going to pip this City team. It's an impossible job. People will be harsh to Jurgen Klopp of Liverpool and say, oh, you only got 1 Prem in 9 years and this and that. But how many times did they get bare points, come second? Like, it's almost impossible, really and truly. And until we can say, as much as we're doing great, that we've maximized how we're spending, how we're selling, you know, every player is in as good as they can be. You know, we're not talking about a lack of depth, all the controllables that we can control. Until we fully control that, then I can look for, okay, can other teams do us a favor? You know, is it impossible? which you get where I'm going. Ange will slowly realise he ain't getting back in the transfer window because they're still penny pinching because of the stadium. And this is what Spurs fans failed to understand. You're not getting Champions League. They will still spend money. The Prem's got money. But people forget, if you're not in the champs, Levy's not flexing no muscles. It's peak. We need more than 15 for him. He can rot on the bench for that money. He's English and a very good goalkeeper. 15 million is not enough to replace him. We'd have to spend more to get a worse keeper. DG, we can do it. It's football. Anything can happen. We just need to take care of business against the Toffees. They're soft. I hear that, but I do think Arsenal fans, we get a bit poetic and we say anything can happen, you know, North London forever. It sounds like a movie, like it does. I've got a video coming out at 4 p.m. I'm not going to lie. This season, has anyone watched Coach Carter, the movie? It feels like that, if I'm honest. For real, DG speaking sense, Ange will 100% fall out with the board and get sacked. He wants to win. I just think the likes of Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, Smith Rowe, and even Vieira just wasting squad place because they never played. But I'm not saying you're wrong, but devil's advocate, Arteta's assembled the squad. So the same way I rate all these things about Arteta, if I'm complaining about the lack of depth in midfield, we're still having certain conversations about injuries and whatnot. Who is to blame? Like, I believe in praising and critiquing fairly. So there's much more we can do, man. There's much more. I remember saying to my buddy after the Fulham and Spurs home drop points, these games are going to haunt us. Yep. Fulham at home, we're on nonsense, man. Nonsense, man. I can see the Bundesliga getting purged this summer for their talent. So many good players. I know we won't sign him, but if you could bring me Florian Wirtz, we're laughing, man. As I said, the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. That left wing position is for someone to claim we've got to get rid of Trossard or Martinelli and bring in someone class. Nah, allow that, man. I'm sticking with Martinelli, and Trossard's a very good squad player. Out of all of the attackers we've got, I think he's the best finisher at the club. He's the best finisher at the club. He's probably our most versatile attacker, really, because I think Jesus can play across the front three. He's shown it. I think Martinelli in theory could play up front and naturally can play on the right. But Trossard is comfortable as a false nine on either side. He's 29, so he's an experienced player going against a youth project. He knows his role. He knows his job. He's doing his thing. There might come a reality where you need to sell Trossard, but what are we talking about, man? Loudly that, man. Trossard's needed here. He's untouchable, man. That's why you need big money. I'm going to believe until the 90th minute tomorrow, going to have both games on. I hear that. But what I will say, some of you Arsenal fans who supported Spurs and then got egg on your face, boy, that's got to be the low of the season, man. What do you think of Ryan? In my opinion, he's not been great. Only good thing is that he collects crosses to relieve pressure, but still dodgy. He hasn't made a save that wins us points. That's a bit harsh, man. I do think he has. I do think there's been games. I think Liverpool away, he stood up tall. I think City, not that they had many, he stood up tall. But I do think there's naiveties in his game. I don't have 100% belief in Raya, if that makes sense. Like if we had a prime Czech or Van der Sar or something like that. And I still think there's question marks. But I like Raya, man. I think if our defense keeps this up and our keeper's never called into action, it's great. I think naturally when you're a modern keeper, you're going to, like with Edison, you're going to have those brain farts. But I think he's done all right, man. I think the modern day goalkeeping stuff he does, I think he sticks to the script. I think I think he's all right, if I'm honest with you, with Raya. I don't think he's amazing, and I wouldn't say we couldn't upgrade, but there's many different things we need to do as a squad before I look at Raya, if I'm honest. Trossard is our Yotta. As a United fan, I'd prefer City win. Soulless title means nothing. Arsenal proper club would mean more. I always say, yeah, big up City, but I don't know no City fans like that. I know people used to support Arsenal that went and supported them. I don't know no City fans. So if Arsenal are not winning the Premier League, it's best that City win it. I definitely don't want Spurs to do it, for obvious reasons. I definitely don't want United after, you lot kind of ruined my childhood. As much as Wenger showed that we can hit back, they ruined my childhood. I'm 29, they ruined my childhood. I never want them to win a league title again. And it's not even because of the club. Man United fans are unbearable. The ones I know, they for the last 2 years, you lot have just been doing this. You're not even involved in it and you're chatting. I know Liverpool fans, I know Chelsea fans, I know whatever big club, excluding Spurs, are there. I don't know City fans. City is all right. And for me, I've lived this season. I've been in my group chats. I've been all right. Like, they laugh at Arsenal they've laughed at my club for trying to win. We lost to Bayern Munich in the champs. Great. No one in the top six took points off us. Arteta, please, next season, can we go unbeaten against the top six again? This is unheard of. Like, 4 points off City, 2 clean sheets. We played City, all these teams, and we never had no L's. But we shot ourselves in the foot in a couple. To be fair, even beating United at the Emirates, we shot ourselves in the foot. We just bust case. The last 2 seasons, maybe even 3, but the last 2 seasons, the Man United Arsenal games, they could have went either way. Raya would be elite if he was 4 inches taller and 15k heavier. Too short and not physically strong enough for me. Harsh, man. There are no perfect keepers, though. You see Allison and Neuer make mistakes. Of course, no, but there's not a perfect footballer, really and truly. Do you think that the team does not need many high-priced buys, but good, solid depth players? I think we need quality. If you can get quality players that don't cost a lot, then that's great. But typically, that's the going rate, really. I'm sure there was alternatives we could have got to Declan Rice and what Declan Rice is doing. But at the end of the day, we had to overpay. And that's no disrespect to Declan Rice or what Arsenal did. That's the going rate. You want that, you have to do that. That's what you kind of see with the strikers. So, yeah, man, like I would love more depth at this football club, 100%. But I'm at that point now, I must admit, if there's a quality player that the club genuinely believe in and there's a genuine willingness, then we've got to do it, because this is the dynamics, really and truly. This is what we're going against. We're going against a team like City, which for all their money, they're not wasteful. They'll move away from deals, but they, at a drop of a hat, they could sign elite talents. And I personally think in the summer, City are going to bring in some significant guys. I personally think they're signing Bruno Gomares and Paqueta. Challenging is not winning. Klopp is a failure. The failure thing is harsh. Because I think it's very naive. I do think it's quite disrespectful to sport. You know, sport is just about winning, and I'm all about trophies 100%. But you can't just say, like, football's not that white and black to say Klopp's a failure. You know, if I'm Jurgen Klopp and I've won the Champions League and an FA Cup and all them titles, I've ended a 30-year wait for Liverpool to win the Premier League title. Nobody on God's green earth could call me a flop. But history only remembers the victors, so it is failing to a degree. It's not white and black, man. Have you seen West Ham fans trying to create a rivalry? They're following the Spurs mentality. They're just upset that Declan Rice left for pastures new. West Ham, we ain't got no problems with you. We, United, dominated, but we dominated when Arsenal had their best team ever. Jose, Chelsea were ridiculous. Arsenal only need 3 or 4 players at max, top-class players, and you challenge for everything. But that's the thing. Like, we're not going to have a 20-man squad of, like for likes. Like, I don't know how to make it make sense, but let's just say, I don't know, you've got, I don't know, for the left-hand side, you've got, unless you're Real Madrid, you've got Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe, and you've got like-for-like quality. We'd all love that, but it's not sustainable per se to a certain point, man. So it all depends how you look at things, people. Moving on, keep up your talking points, people. If we look at what Mikel Arteta has said in his press conference, it's one of the biggest weeks for many of us, and certainly now is the most important moment. I'm really excited and can't wait for Sunday to be in front of us. And obviously, I'm very optimistic as well with the possible outcome. Then he said the hope was there and it didn't happen. Now we have to do our job, which is going to be tough against Everton because they're in a really good moment. So we're going to have to prove again that we can be better than the opponent and win the game. Then we have to wish for the best and for West Ham to have a really good day and help us fulfill our dream. West Ham don't owe us nothing, so I can't do that. He said he hasn't spoken to David Moyes. Obviously, you know, the players will be keeping up with what's going on with the West Ham game. You would imagine the coaching staff. And to be fair, even if the coaching staff and Mikel Arteta and his players said, we do not care about the City game, realistically, it's the last game of the season. You're going to know there might be, you know, it might be the 20th minute in the game at our place. Fans are cheering. No goals have been scored. What do you think that is? You know, I think anyone that's old enough, we've seen this before, essentially. On if we don't win the league, what he'll be most proud of. I just can't think like that. I just think that we're going to win the game and hopefully something beautiful is going to happen. Let's wait. Inshallah, my guy, man. But on if he senses excitement around the squad, naturally there should be excitement, man. Like, we've come a long way as a football club. We've come a long way. Like, at no point at this season have I said, I just want the season to end. How many times have we begged the season to end in December, people? I've just seen goalpost after goalpost move with my football club. When more in the Wenger days, when we could play teams off the park and play with a swagger, but we didn't get 3 points, they say we can't win ugly. We start winning ugly or not winning when we're at our best. People want us to play like a prime Barcelona side. And that's how I know we're getting serious again, because nobody likes us. Nobody likes any sportsman or any sports team that actually dominate things. No one liked Mayweather. No one liked Jose, like someone said, Jose Mourinho sides. Nobody definitely liked Pep's sides or Ferguson sides. It's a bit different, but when Arsenal were winning, we weren't liked. You know, foreign manager Wenger's come over here with his foreign players, disrupted the monopoly, given some stressful times. There was a point, you know, Wenger actually had a better head-to-head against Ferguson at a point in time, really. And to be fair, again, going back to those older, you know, even older than me that can remember, like, go back to 1999. You know, you lot relying on Spurs are in trouble. Like, if I can remember correctly, when United did the treble, was it not a thing where people were hoping Spurs could do Arsenal a favor? So it is, well, it is, people. So yeah, on no team ever overhauling the Premier League leaders on the final day. That's not going to change. You mean it's a probability. If something happens, then it's more probable that something else can happen. Let's wish that was the case. I just hope that we don't get our Omagero moment unless we're benefiting from it, because that must scar United. Omagero! That's in Premier League history. And then to see the QPR players celebrating is crazy. But yeah, people. On Man City wobbling on the final day in previous seasons, they can't afford to. Pep's not going for that. It's really difficult to beat any opponent in the Premier League. And when something is at stake as well, that task becomes much more difficult. That's not in our control, that's for sure. On many saying City have one hand in the title, we all know that they are a bit closer because that's one game left and they have to play at home, but they're going to play a really tough opponent. Would have loved it at West Ham's place. We have suffered this season over the last few seasons. It's going to be really tough to beat them. I'm sure they're going to be very at it, and hopefully we can achieve our dream. On if he's spoken to Pep, come on, there's definitely been banter between the Texans, but it's calm. On if City will lose or draw, this is what we need, that's for sure. I mean, if West Ham, you know what, if City are leading for 89 minutes and, you know, Mikel Antonio, the best striker, Jamaican international, if you want to help us, you know, don't make me go into my attic and get my West Ham shirt, people, you know, signed by Antonio. I've never been one to cheer on other teams, but if Arsenal did win, I'm putting on that shirt. On how they can be impossible to stop. If I don't believe that today, imagine how much I couldn't believe in August. From August, 38 games against City and what they've done in the last 20 years as a club with what we've done in the last 20 years in the Premier League, we'd have zero chance. We cannot start like this. We have to believe for sure, which is true. On if this season has been a success, yes, but we are here to win. That's my aim and that's the only thing I'm thinking of. The manager said it. And I do think in the Arsenal fan base, there's some Arteta sexuals. Like Arteta could poo in his hands and clap. And people say that's so innovative. For me, I rate Arteta heavy. I rate what he's doing. I think you're going to be a great manager, not just for us or elsewhere. But if I rate you so highly, when things go left, I have to ask questions. And I do think there's, you know, Arteta can never do any right. The man has said the season has been a success. We've improved like last year or versus last year. All the metrics point to that. But he's here to win. There you have it. And if anyone's bottled the league, sorry, Marcel, but I have to throw Liverpool under a bus because technically you lot were top of the tree for the most time spent in this season. So yeah, my last season we held that like 200 odd days. But yeah, I'm not interested in abolishing VAR. I think it's an idiot thing. Why not work on how to implement it properly? On if he can complain about Tottenham's application against City. No, we can't, because even if Spurs genuinely went out there, which I don't believe the club and the manager did, and the players, if they genuinely went out there to get battered by City, they could do that. It's nothing to do with us. Why is our fate in the hands of people that Arsenal fans like to call serial bottlers? And then some Arsenal fans are hoping they win. I understand why you would hope for such, but you see why there's egg on your face? It does not make sense, people. On if people be monitoring on Sunday, 100%. On if he plans to discuss his contract this summer, that's something that after the season or whenever the right time is, we'll sit and we'll talk and sit down. Obviously, he's not going to talk about the 115 charges. Again, big up Mikel Arteta for that. I don't think there's anything else we're necessarily missing. Gabriel says the squad are still full of belief going into the final day against Everton. And it's weird because Gabriel actually had the medical at Everton before he joined Arsenal. He said, there's still belief. We're ready for the last game. We've really prepared well this week. And we're really ready to go for the last game and win and see what happens. In football, anything can happen. Anything can happen. But it seems like anything that needs to happen don't happen for my football club. It feels like my club have to do things by the book. We don't get to win the Champions League in the scummy way Chelsea did, or slightly even United, you know, in my lifetime, you know, coming back from behind in 1999, obviously winning on penalties against Chelsea. It feels like we have to do it by the book. We're never going to catch life as a football club unless it's in the FA Cup. He said, everything is normal and we are prepared like we do for every game. What we've done this year and all the support for us, very happy. He bigged up David Raya. Big up David Raya. First season after, you know, the circus when he came in and all the noise to get the Golden Glove. It's a reflection of the whole team, but big him up. Big up Phil Foden and Cole Palmer for winning Premier League players of the appropriate awards as well. Where he said, we're very happy to have him. Pardon me, we're pleased he joined the club and has been doing a great job. We changed the way we play to some extent, but with Aaron Ramsdale, we're already playing like that. So it's just the small things, really. There you have it. The small things, Raya's better at him then. And then on Declan Rice, he said, I didn't expect it, to be honest. I watched Declan before and knew he was a top player. He's been having a big impact on the team here and really helping us out. So we're happy to have him. He has so much quality. He can play in 2 or 3 different positions. So, of course, we're thrilled to have him in the team. Big him up on that. Big up David Raya on the Golden Glove. Again, people, I think Arteta has said we must embrace the moment, people. He said we need to use all our energy of the stadium to help channel us. Let's cut that because we're going to get copyright. He said, in the difficult challenge in Everton, they're in a really good moment and are a really difficult opposition to play against. Do our things, embrace that moment, use all the energy that's going to be in the stadium and leave the day in the way that we have to leave it. And then hope West Ham are going to be very aligned with us and are going to help us to achieve our dream. Listen, West Ham, Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, Aaron Ramsdale's better than Fabianski, you know. We got that Lokonga there, Tierney. There's deals that can happen. There's things that can happen. You've seen 105 million. We might nice you, like, do what you need to do. But on a serious note, moving on. I believe a lot in those things and in journeys, and that happens for a reason. We don't know what the outcome is going to be, but for whatever reason, it's going to be for a reason. Very philosophical man, Arteta, isn't it? I don't know if we're going to find out on Sunday in 3 months' time or in 3 years' time, but it will happen for a reason, which is true. To be in the position we're in the final game of the season in front of our crowd with the Premier League trophy there waiting for us, this is beautiful. The moments you want to live, flirting. Like, imagine seeing everything that you've ever desired in life from a footballing sense this season right in front of you. Like, can touch it, but you're so close, but yet so far. It's a shame, man. And he said the best one, when asked on potential memories, the best one is hopefully going to be on Sunday. Then during that journey all the way to Sunday, stepping into that stadium with the feeling, with the energy, with our people that have been incredible for us, living that moment together. Hopefully the outcome will be unbelievable. On that, you know, we'll be doing a watch along. It's the final one of the season. Odegaard has been speaking, people, as well. What has he said? He said, we spoke about it the day after and we have to focus on ourselves. We can't get too emotional about it. We have one more game at home. It's the final game of the season. Our goal and our task is clear. We have to win that. We'll see what happens. That's our mindset now. Win that last game. Give the fans a good last game. We'll see. It's out of our control. As I said, we just focus on our game. And for me, unfortunately, it's there, innit? It's out of our control. So control the controllables, which would be obviously beating Everton, and then going back to the drawing board when the season's done for next season. But it's out of our control. It's out of your hands, people. Big up Odegaard. He said, I would say amazing when asked how he feels we've performed this season. We've taken good steps, and I feel like we're a much better team compared to last year. We had some really good games, some really good results, and we are now there until the last day to push for it. Big him up, man. Big him up. And he then said, I don't know if I saw myself being a captain that quickly, but I saw a lot of potential in the team. I believe in what we're doing, the project and everything. I knew when I came here, we were going to get better and better and fight for things. That's the reason why I came here. I wanted to be part of the project and was so sure we were going to get to the highest level. We're there now and pushing until the last day to win it. We're doing well and hopefully we'll see it happen. And if not, very soon. Inshallah, my dude. Big up El Nene. He's announced that he's leaving the football club, people. Shout out to El Nene. Best of luck for the future, people. Edu has been speaking in relation to going into this game, people, on The Athletic. He said, I really want them, obviously the players, to understand how proud I am, how proud we are. Sometimes when you're so deeply inside the bubble, working so hard to try to win, you don't see how proud everyone outside is to have these guys represent Arsenal Football Club every week. I hope they can realize that. I have a lot of conversations with Mikel about these things. They really deserve the plaudits because we see how much effort, energy and dedication they put into bringing this club to the top again. That to me is the key. When you speak to fans or other people in football, I feel it, and I would like for them to feel it as well. I hope they can recognize how well they are doing. Then he went on to say, what else has he said? I'm looking purely for the quotations, people. What we have is people taking care of each other. They really take care about everything, not only on the pitch. I had some private conversations with players when they are not talking about themselves, about how others are doing, and I love it. When I was a player, I participated in 4 squads: Corinthians, Arsenal, Valencia, and Brazil, which were not necessarily the best friends, but we were the best characters. We won trophies in all those teams. Fair enough. Then he said, if you have that friendship where you look after each other, it adds something special. And that's true. Sunday League, if you play with your actual boys, it's different. But it does not mean you are going to be successful. The way we work to the club, we want to be. There's no space to be less than 100% for every single person in this football club. I see a lot of similarity in this group right now to what I experienced as a footballer in terms of mentality of the group, how you are every day, how you behave every day, how you compete in training, how you compete with each other, how you push each other. I mean, Edu, this is long, you know, how long you spend at the training ground, how ready you are to get some details from the coaching staff. People don't see all that effort. We have special guys here, you know. Fair enough, people. He then said, if you go back to last summer, our goal was to see what we see today. The club fighting for something big again, with a squad prepared not only for now but for the future. After the players we signed, I expected to fight for the league. We came into it having performed unbelievably well the season before, and we addressed some pieces we missed. We introduced the characters and the quality to improve. It was pretty exciting. And then he said, people on Dubai, I think there was a moment in your life when you need the rest, and I felt that group in the time was needing a little bit of a rest in every sense, physically, mentally, and everything. It came at the perfect time for us to reflect, think again, to relax, and then to come back again. Mikel did everything very well to invite the families to Dubai, help to regroup everyone, to challenge everyone to review everything, and we came back strongly. Fair enough. He then said, people, you know, obviously you need about, to be fair, I believe in August, you need to be looking at 85 to 90 points to even talk about talking to City, regardless of how it pans out. He said it's frustrating. If you see our numbers now and how we're performing, it might not be enough, but we cannot forget how well we're doing and the progress that drives us. I knew when I was a player how it felt going through a big season. I understand you give everything, you try everything. Hopefully you finish the season with a very good feeling. Sometimes a player can have regrets, maybe blame themselves and wonder if they should have done a bit better, more, or looked after themselves a bit better. The guys did everything and dedicated themselves and lived their life for football, which makes me very proud. He then said, people, I know what we had to go through to push the club back towards where we are now. I remember my first day back here, first week, first months, all the ideas for squad building with a 5-year plan. There are many different conversations, many minds that needed to change and hard decisions to make. Thank God everything we predicted is happening, and that's something to be proud of. Every season and every window we are striving. We always looking to add quality and improve the elements that were missing. When we started, we signed a lot of different characters to build a good foundation. Then we brought in players like Jesus and Zinchenko to bring special impact. Then we started the next push, which was needed with the new signings last summer. As soon as you understand what you need and get the support of your club, you really feel that it's going to increase the performance of the team. Smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Also, we have renewed 100% of the players we wanted to renew. That's interesting. Zinchenko's got 2 years left. Smith Rowe's got 2 years left. Partey's got a year left. Does that tell you everything? I don't know, people. Let me know. Players don't want to leave anymore, which makes my life easier. We change the dynamics. Players want to be at a place where they can challenge for big things. They love it. He then said, you see how people work every day and how much they want it, and you start to believe that something special is happening. You start to evolve the squad. You have to start bringing in players, and that's very contagious. As a sporting director, I love what I do, and I want to do more. I want to be better. I have to think about next season and how we can do even better. Even if we do win the title, let's go for more. I mean, winning a title could be the best and worst thing that happens for the club. Best for obvious reasons, wrong because complacency. Everyone but Edu and Mikel Arteta could celebrate that, because the minute Arteta, if we do win the title, yeah, you can, you take the picture of your family, get excited. The minute that's over, how do we retain this? How do we do, how do we win champs? How do we do this? How do we do that? We can't rest on our laurels, people, as a football club. So I think he is right on that. What else have we got here? Okay, this is about big up the squad players and whatnot. I think he's spoken about individual players. That's great, but we won't get hung up on that. What else have we got? The task is clear. We've gone over Odegaard's comments. Arsenal misfit Aaron Ramsdale responds to reports he's agreed to join Newcastle. He's distanced himself, people. On the Highbury squad, Sky Sports' James Green, which you can't rule out, did say, people, that he's agreed to move to Newcastle, essentially. He said, I understand, and I found out directly from the player's agent that one of our players is off to Newcastle and a deal has been agreed. It's my understanding that Aaron Ramsdale's agreed to join Newcastle in the summer. That comes directly through speaking to someone I'm very close with, who is close with his agent, and he says it's done. Fair enough. Ramsdale said news to me. Now, it could be right, people. It could be right. It could be wrong. We don't know, but you'd imagine Aaron Ramsdale's days at the club are numbered. Once again, he said that's news to him. And again, 15 million's an idiot thing, people. Newcastle make 15 million move for Aaron Ramsdale. Newcastle are pushing ahead with a deal to sign Aaron Ramsdale in the first move of what promises to be a busy summer of ins and outs at St. James's Park. As we know, Eddie Howe did sign him at Bournemouth, people. Apparently, although there are still things to work through, it's thought Newcastle are willing to pay around 15 million for Aaron Ramsdale with the offer of a 5-year deal. Okay, good luck with that. The Bradker could leave. I don't know what that would mean for Nick Pope, but okay, good luck with that. We've once again been linked with Locatelli. Once bitten, twice shy. Obviously, a bit like Vlahovic, you took us around the corner. I'm actually going to do a video on Locatelli, but the only thing, that Locatelli, Onana, Douglas Luiz, Zubimendi all have in common that have been linked with us is their central midfielders. So again, and you've seen Allegri leave Juventus in the last 24 hours. So this is probably why we're being linked with him. But for what it's worth, Arsenal interested in signing Juventus midfielder Manuel Locatelli this summer, according to reports, people. We'll have to see. He's 26. I think he's contracted until 2028. You know, he's got a good pedigree being at Juventus, doing what he was doing at Sassuolo, people. Obviously, he's won the Euros. He'd be a great player for us. Doesn't score too many goals, but he'd be a good signing. But I don't believe it. Arsenal's interest in Ivan Toney has now waned. It's highly unlikely he will sign for Arsenal this summer. Neither will Alexander Isak. Arsenal monitored the player when he went to Newcastle, but no longer retain an interest, especially not at the muted 120 million price tag, people. Arsenal's prospects of landing Joshua Zirkzee and Jarell Hato have improved in recent hours, but transfer news expert Fabrizio Romano has warned the London side not to expect to have it all their way when it comes to chasing the duo. What specifically has he said? Regardless of whether Arsenal want to sign Joshua Zirkzee, he's a priority target for AC Milan. They'll keep pushing to find a way to sign him. Talks took place and will continue, while Juventus also called weeks ago to be informed of Zirkzee. So we'll have to see where he's concerned. He didn't say anything on Hato, but fair play. What else have we got? Locatelli's living his dream at Juventus, people. And again, you took us around the houses. Surely Arsenal will be stupid to kind of go back in for him after that. We have been linked with Fenerbahce fullback Ferdi Kadioglu, I can't pronounce that. We've once again been linked with the left back. You lot can draw whatever conclusions you wish. Young Renell Waters on Instagram has confirmed what the Athletic have reported, in that he's departing and keeping it moving. Is there anything else? We went over the Edu comments, people, so I don't think we've missed anything there. Again, at 4 p.m, people, Arsenal remind me of Coach Carter, the movie, so that will be out for you lot. And tomorrow, obviously, join me for the last Premier League game of the season, our last Premier League watch along of this season, so we'll be there for that. Again, that was a bit of a long read. What are you lot saying here, people? Arsenal, already seen that. Scary times, man. Next season, I can see Chelsea, United, and Villa going for that second spot. We're going to have to go big this summer. I mean, everyone, you know, that we're going to be in a world in the Prem where I think 6-7 teams, maybe 10 years from now, could all win the Premier League title. Everybody's going to improve. It's like business, you know. If you have a good product, you don't want to improve because other people are improving. Chelsea are a big club. You expect them to hit back. You expect Liverpool to hit back. You expect United to hit back. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. All we can do is focus on ourselves. You know, this is the Premier League. We talk about how it's so competitive and stuff. Competitive stuff now, isn't it? Raya is not a Ter Stegen or Donnarumma or Oblak, but he's firmly in that bracket just below. He's very good. I'm not going to lie to you. Donnarumma, of what I think he's a good goalkeeper. But is Donnarumma overrated? The PSG keeper, the young Italian lad, is he overrated? I don't know. You can't say Klopp is a failure. He bagged Liverpool's first ever Prem and bagged the champs. Klopp is far from a failure. He defo isn't in the realm of Pep or Ferguson. Rice has finished higher in the league twice in 2 seasons at Arsenal than West Ham ever have in their entire history. I mean, this is Rice's first season though, bro. They finished third once in over 100 years, tiny and below average. I like West Ham, but we're not involved with them. DJ, remember that Aguero moment? It's our turn to win it like that. I hope we can. Yeah, Rice was overpriced, but it worked out. Same should go for Gomares. Paid the 100 million price tag and get physical, dominant midfield that can overpower Man City and Liverpool's attack. I'm all for it. Thoughts on Sancho? Looks like he wants to stay in Germany, but if he wanted to sign for Arsenal, I'd be for that. I'd have Paqueta over Gomares, to be honest. I hear that, but I just like Gomares, man. I've always liked him. He plays at 6, plays at 8, scumbag as well. I think him, Odegaard, Rice in midfield, forget about it. Partey and Jorginho on the wings for at least a year, forget about it. Keep Partey for 1 more year. Get Zubamendi and Fofana for midfield. Get Madueke or Ahmad as backup for Saka, a striker, and we're good for next season. United aren't going to sell us to Diallo. Madueke ain't going to leave Chelsea for us. 15 mil is highway robbery for Ramsdale. El Nene and Ketty and Nelson, Fabio Vieira, 1 more season. I think El Nene's cutting, man. Please sell Partey now before he leaves as a free agent next year. He's always injured. Buy 2 midfielders, Gomares and Fofana, to replace him and El Nene. Big up, DG. Shout out yourself, man. I'm late to the stream. If Arsenal sell Ramsdale for 15 million, that's a failure. They should at least receive 30 M's. I wouldn't spend 100 million on Gomares. I'd go and get Kimmich, or if you want a younger 6 or 8, then Conrad Lemir's top class. He showed in the 2 legs against us. You're fully right. Exactly. Take charge of your own business. Relying on other clubs in sport is a fool's errand. There you have it. Spurs had City on the ropes, just didn't have the fans on their side. It was a weird atmosphere, and I can't blame Spurs, but Spurs fans obviously don't want Arsenal to win the league, and everybody's allowed to have their own opinions. I don't think the Spurs players or the club, financially, Levy wants you to get champs. The players want to play in the Champions League, and you get bonuses, and it helps you attract players to ultimately make the squad better. Postecoglou, as much as we banter Spurs, the man wants to win stuff. So, yeah, but it just tells you, collectively, Spurs fans, they're losers, isn't it? Whatever happens on Sunday, I'm proud of the team. Boy, Gomares is not worth 100 mil even in this market. Recommended upgrade, sell 7 and Nketiah, Tini, Tavares, Nelson, Partey, Smith Rowe, Lokonga, and buy Sesko, Nico Williams, Gamares, Fifana, Hato, and Kadidoglu. Right. Ramsdale shut down on Twitter. No, yeah, he did, man, but who knows? No clue why Newcastle want Ramsdale. They have Pope and their sub is also incredibly good. Ramsdale's a downgrade. Ramsdale better than Pope, man. Stop it. They spent 30. I don't want the disruptive figures, which I don't think Ramsdale is, but he signed a new deal. Not selling man for peanuts. Locatelli, sorry, has been dirt poor so much. Juventus just want to get their money back. Why do we do it to ourselves? Ramsdale is worth about 27 million. So Eddie Howe bought Ramsdale for 18 million when he was at Bournemouth, and now we're supposed to believe that they're trying to sign him for 15. He's a much better player with 4 years left on his deal. There you have it. Personally, I feel Arsenal will get either Zertsky or Sesko midfield, more like a physical midfielder like Bruno, Douglas, Onana, defender who is younger like Hato, but the big spend would be a midfielder. I'm conflicted because I think we need to address all areas, but if you told me we're going to sign a heavyweight striker or a heavyweight centre mid, like someone that could change our fortunes in the way of Declan Rice, I don't know which I'd pick. I want to lean towards a striker because we're going to be a lot more confident. But I think if you could get another game-changing midfield, obviously games are won and lost in the final third and in the defence, but it's played in the middle, and I just think there's too many unanswered questions in midfield. Yes, Jorginho signed a new deal, so I think Partey might leave in the summer. We get a new midfielder this year. Jorginho stays for a year. We get a new one in, really. But I just think we need to address midfield. And Edu and Arteta, you were midfielders, and you know, Declan, out of the people who play in the pivot, not Odegaard who can play there and other people, nobody's grabbed that spot. I honestly take nothing away from Jorginho, but I said I think we played him more than Arteta would have liked. Quality player, but he's not a 38-game man. Partey isn't the same as well. Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira, they flirted with taking the opportunity. They haven't grabbed it. The midfield is too open. And as much as players have to take responsibility, there has to be a direct Havertz in midfield didn't work either. There has to be a direct correlation between that void in midfield, our left-hand side, not really for the whole season doing much. Obviously, we've had injuries at left-back as well. I need to not talk about these things. Locatelli is a good DM, but he's not that great with the ball at his feet. Don't know how him and Rice would work. To be fair, he's a good ball carrier. And he's good making those forward kind of runs. I just don't think there's enough. I think they're not similar, but I don't think there's enough. Like, I want a more centre mid that's not Santi Cazorla. I would love him, but like we need someone that's more of the dictating the tempo of the game, great in tight spaces, almost like a heartbeat. Spurs fans are well within their rights. We lost the league to Villa. It is what it is. There you have it. They can do what they want. Like, I don't even care what Spurs can do, whatever they want. The very fact of our future in terms of Premier League destiny was in their hands. That tells you we've done something wrong across the season, essentially. I don't know though, man. That's just my personal thoughts, if I'm honest. So yeah, man. It is what it is. The value of any player is decided by other clubs interested in them. If no one thinks Partey or Ramsdale are worth more than £5, that's the reality. We have little or no leverage with either player. There we have it. The numbers say we don't need a striker. They will look at the data. You have to look at the fact Martinelli and Odegaard did score, so that's another 5 to 10 goals that can be added to the squad centre mid needed. There you have it. Like, fair enough, Trossard joined in January last year, but he had like 10 assists, hardly any goals. He's kind of swapped. Like, he's got 12 goals. Jesus' goals have deserted him. That's what I was saying earlier. There's a lot of versatility. I like these players. They can score goals. But if you was to put a gun to my head in August for the start of the 2024-25 season, Saka is the only one I'll bet my life on because you've got double figures the last couple of years. If we're looking for big money strikers, throw the 100 M's at Isaac, then bring in Douglas Luiz at midfield. Villa have got Champions League football. They want to keep those boys together, so they're going to overcharge for Douglas Luiz as well. If we're looking for a big money midfielder, pick up Bruno for 80 M's with Sesko up front. Who knows? Timber could be that unbelievable 6. He played it well for the Dutch national team and Ajax. You can't rule out anything, but I don't think Timber will organically play in midfield for Arsenal. I think he'll do that inverted thing, if I'm completely honest with you, man. Again, people, as I said, don't forget, people, you know, we're watching Arsenal versus Everton tomorrow. There's some content to come out and has come out on my channel. With that being said, though, as much as I enjoy having a conversation with you lot, I'm going to run off to the gym and enjoy the weekend, people, and I'll see you lot tomorrow. Thank you for your talking points, for hitting the like button, you lot on Twitch, etc. Again, just because the season's done, while I'm disappointed, and I thank you lot for your support this season, the show must go on. I'm going to hang around like a bad smell. So, yeah, big up you lot. Leave a comment in the comment section after. Smash the like button, subscribe. I'll see you lot all at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Peace.
Against this right back, Charlie.
Still the foot.